India, 2024. The air crackles with tension. A single phrase, uttered by the Prime Minister himself, has set the nation ablaze. Uniform civil code. The debate is not new. However, the timing, just months before a crucial general election, is significant. It has reignited a fire that has long simmered beneath the surface of Indian society. The question at the heart of it all is this: can a nation as diverse as India, with its myriad cultures, religions and traditions, ever truly be governed by a single set of laws, particularly in matters as personal as marriage, divorce, inheritance and adoption? The debate cuts to the very core of what it means to be Indian, forcing us to confront the complex interplay of religion, identity and the law in our lives. India's legal landscape is a reflection of its historical and cultural diversity. While criminal law is uniform for all citizens, personal laws governing matters like marriage, divorce, inheritance and adoption vary across religious communities. Hindus, Muslims, Christians, Sikhs, Parsis. Each community is governed by its own set of personal laws. This mosaic of personal laws, while rooted in the idea of respecting religious freedom, has often been criticized for perpetuating discrimination, particularly against women. The lack of a uniform code, critics argue, has created a system where justice is not blind but rather sees through the prism of religion. For many, the Uniform Civil Code represents a promise of equality, a promise of justice, and a promise of a truly unified India. Proponents of the Uniform Civil Code argue that a common set of laws is essential for national integration and gender justice. They believe that it will help eliminate discrimination based on religion and uphold the true spirit of the Constitution, which guarantees equality for all. A unified legal framework, they say, will streamline the judicial process, reduce confusion, and promote a sense of national unity. The ruling party's recent emphasis on the UCC is seen by many as a strategic move to consolidate its Hindu vote bank. However, the government maintains that its intention is not to impose any religion's beliefs, but to ensure that all citizens are treated equally under the law. The Prime Minister, in his address to the nation, stated, "A uniform civil code is not about uniformity of worship, but about uniformity of rights." The debate over the Uniform Civil Code is not new to India. It has been a contentious issue since the time of independence. One of the most landmark cases that brought this debate to the forefront was the Shahbano case in 1985. Shahbano, a 62-year-old Muslim woman, was divorced by her husband and denied alimony under Muslim personal law. Her fight for maintenance shook the nation and sparked a heated debate around the UCC. The Supreme Court, in its judgment, ruled in her favour, advocating for a uniform civil code. However, the then government, fearing a backlash from religious groups, overturned the verdict through legislation. The Shahbano case remains a stark reminder of the complexities and sensitivities surrounding the issue. Opponents of the Uniform Civil Code, including several opposition parties and minority groups, view it as an attack on their religious freedom and cultural identity. They argue that it would infringe upon their right to practice their faith and maintain their cultural traditions. Many see it as a veiled attempt to impose the Hindu majority's beliefs on minorities. The Uniform Civil Code is not about unity, it's about uniformity, declared a prominent opposition leader. It's an attempt to erase the diverse cultural fabric of our nation. These concerns are particularly pronounced amongst the Muslim community, the largest minority group in India, who fear that their personal laws, based on Islamic Sharia, are under threat. India prides itself on its secular fabric. The Constitution guarantees freedom of religion and allows religious communities to follow their personal laws. However, the debate surrounding the UCC raises crucial questions about the true meaning of secularism in the Indian context. Is it about the state remaining equidistant from all religions, or is it about actively intervening to ensure social justice and equality for all citizens, regardless of their faith? The government's push for the UCC has sparked a debate about the very essence of Indian secularism. Critics argue that true secularism lies in respecting the cultural and religious autonomy of different communities, not in imposing a homogeneous legal code. The implementation of a uniform civil code, they argue, would be a departure from the secular principles enshrined in the Constitution. The Uniform Civil Code for many is not just a legal debate, it is an emotional one. It evokes a sense of fear and apprehension, particularly among minority communities who feel their identity and way of life are under threat. The recent political rhetoric surrounding the UCC has further heightened these anxieties. The lack of clarity about the content of the proposed code has fueled speculation and mistrust. Will it criminalize practices like polygamy, prevalent in some communities? Will it interfere with the inheritance rights of women? Will it impact interfaith marriages? These unanswered questions have created an atmosphere of uncertainty and fear. The debate surrounding the Uniform Civil Code is often painted in black and white: uniformity versus diversity, secularism versus communalism. However, the reality is far more nuanced. Is it possible to find a middle ground, a solution that respects both the need for a just and equitable society and the right to religious freedom? Some legal experts suggest a piecemeal approach, focusing on codifying and reforming personal laws within each religion to eliminate discriminatory practices. Others propose enacting a uniform civil code with an opt-out clause for those who wish to be governed by their personal laws. Finding a solution that addresses the concerns of all stakeholders will require dialogue, empathy, and a willingness to compromise. The implementation of a uniform civil code, if it were to happen, would be a landmark event in India's history. It would have far-reaching implications for the social, political, and legal landscape of the country. While proponents believe it will usher in an era of greater equality and unity, critics fear it will lead to social unrest and further marginalization of minority communities. The road ahead is fraught with challenges. Any attempt to impose a uniform code without building consensus is likely to be met with resistance. The government will need to engage with all stakeholders, particularly minority groups and religious leaders, to address their concerns and build trust. The path to a truly uniform and just India requires not just legal reform, but also a fundamental shift in mindsets and a genuine commitment to inclusivity. The Uniform Civil Code, a beacon of hope for some, represents a threat to others. It is a bridge that India has attempted to cross many times before, only to be pulled back by the weight of its own complexities. Whether this time will be different remains to be seen. One thing is certain: the debate surrounding the UCC is not just about laws. It is a reflection of the larger questions that continue to confront India as it seeks to reconcile its ancient traditions with its modern aspirations. The journey towards a more just and equitable society is long and arduous, and the path ahead demands both sensitivity and courage.